Good day everyone. So for this video, I'm going to discuss to you the Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, specifically the Inferno. But before that, let us first discuss the life of the author, who is Durante degli Alighieri. So he was born on the midday to mid-June, c. 1265 Florence, Republic of Florence, and died on September 13, 1321, about at the age of 56 at Ravenna Papal States. So he was a statesman, poet, language theorist, and political theorist, and he is an Italian. So he has this literary movement called Dolce Stil Novo. So for the structure of the story, actually the Divine Comedy is composed of 14,233 lines that are divided into three canticas. So in Italian, it is pluralized as cantiche. So what are those? So we have the Inferno, which is hell, Purgatory, which is the purgatory, Paradiso, which is the paradise. So each consisting of 33 cantos. In Italian, plural canti. An initial canto serving as introduction to the poem and generally considered to be part of the first cantica brings the total number of cantos to 100. Okay, so the physical aspect of hell is a gigantic funnel that leads to the center of the earth. So according to the legend used by Dante, this gigantic hole in the earth was made when God threw Satan, who is the Lucifer, and his band of rebels out of heaven with such force, and they created a giant hole in the earth. So Satan was cast all the way to the very center of the earth, has remained there, and will remain there through all of eternity. So what are the circles of hell or the inferno? So for those, circle 1 is for those in limbo. That is the first circle of hell. Circle 2 is, or the second circle is the last fool. Third circle, the Glottonus. Fourth, the hoarders. Fifth, the wrathful. Sixth, the heretics. Seventh, the violent. And under this circle 7, we have three rings: the murderers, robbers, plunderers. Ring 2, suicides and those harmful to the world. Ring 3, against God, nature, and art. And we also have here the circle 8, or the 8th circle, which is composed of the fraudulent. So we also have here the trenches 1 to 10, namely panderers and seducers, flatterers, simoniacs, sorcerers, barrators, hypocrites, thieves, evil counselors, sowers of discord, and falsifier. So for the ninth circle, we have the traitors, and under this circle, we have regions. Region 1, kindred; Region 2, country; Region 3, guest; Region 4, lords. So here is the Divine Comedy, Inferno, Purgatory, Paradiso by Dante Alighieri. So what is Inferno? So this is a place where the souls of sinners would go after they die. But not everyone will be going here. It depends on how they do on earth. So in Canto 1, the Inferno follows the wandering of the poet Dante as he strays off the rightful and straight path of moral truth and gets lost in the dark wood, in a dark wood. And that fox is just the beginning. At the age of 35, on the night of Good Friday in the year 1300, Dante finds himself lost in a dark wood and full of fear. So that is the Canto 1. So the dark worlds of error. Why is Dante afraid of going through the canto? Just as the three wild animals threaten to attack him. So this is actually the three-headed dog. In the other in the other version of this story, which is the Cerberus, Dante is rescued by the ghost of Virgil, a celebrated Roman poet and also Dante's idol. Okay, Virgil is also there in the Canto 1 when Dante is approaching, or when Dante is in that canto. Okay, next canto is the Descent. When asked why he came, Virgil answers that The head honches of heaven, the Virgin Mary and Santa Lucia, felt sorry for Dante. Virgil asked the deceased love of Dante's life, who is Beatrice, to send someone down to help him. So actually, this is why Virgil was there is because of Beatrice, who is Dante's life. He was asked to come down, and for Virgil to rescue him. He is an appropriate guide because he's very much like Dante and a fellow writer and a famous poet. Okay, we have the Canto 3, the opportunists. Dante passes through the gate of hell, so the third canto is the gate of hell. Dante passes through the gate of hell, which bears an inscription ending with the famous phrase, Lasciate agnes speranza voi scenerate, most frequently translated as abandon all hope, ye who enter here. So, according to the translation, most of the people or most of the souls that are going here, or all of the souls, is that because they are in despair or they were abounded by hope. Dante and his guide hear the anguish screams of the uncommitted. These are the souls of people who in life took no sides. The opportunists who were for neither good nor evil but merely concerned with themselves. So, as based on the description here, uh, the Canto 3, the opportunist. So we have this so-called the sin of omission. Sin of omission, you do not do the thing you are supposed to do. You just play safe. And those people belongs to the opportunist, or they are the residents of this canto. Okay. Next we have same canto 3. After passing through the vestibule, Dante and Virgil reach the ferry that will take them across the river Acheron and to Hell proper. And the ferry, as you also hear this on the previous story, Sharon, who does not want to let Dante enter for he is a living being. So because the Inferno is only for the dead people, for the soul of the dead people, Sharon did not allow Dante to enter the vestibule. So Virgil forces Charon to take him. However, the passage across the Acheron is undescribed, since Dante faints and does not awaken until he is on the other side. So therefore, in order for Dante to go through the vestibule, he needs to uh, have no. He needs to be unconscious. So that's why he fainted. Because living people are not allowed to enter this uh, on this canto, the canto 3, which is the gate. So Sharon didn't allow, so therefore uh, Dante needs to be fainted or to feel unconscious. Next we have after passing through the gates of hell, the Canto Four is here. So which composed of the first circle, which is Limbo. Now we are already approaching the after the gate of hell. So this after the gate of hell we have the fourth canto, and under the fourth canto we have circles. First circle is the Limbo, considered as the pre-hell. Just contains all the unbaptized and good people born and before the coming of Christ, who obviously couldn't be saved by him. See, Christians believe that those who were born before Christ was born, and they are under this circle of hell, which is the Limbo. They are unbaptized. That's why baptism is a practice in among Catholic churches and good people and before the coming of Christ, because they did not receive the words of Christ because they were not yet born when uh, Christ were not yet born during their time. So they belong in this. They did not have the chance to know Christ. So they are here in the fourth circle, which is the limbo. And also here, Virgil resides here along with a bunch of other Greek and Roman poets. Dante encounters the poets Homer, Horace, Ovid, and Lucan, who include him in their number and make him sixth in that high company. Next, after the limbo, which is the first circle, we also have the circle 2, which is the last fool. Dante and Virgil leave limbo and enter the second circle of the first circles of incontinence, where the punishment of hell proper begin. It is described as the part where nothing gleams. They find their way hindered by separate Minos. So Minos judges all of those who condemn for active, deliberately will to sin one of the lower circles. So this is, you know, the start of the people being punished. So in the limbo, there is no punishment there because they did not see Christ when they live. They did not know Christ. So no punishment in that circle. So the punishment starts in the circle 2, which is the last fool. And in there we have Minos. He sentences each soul to its torment by wrapping his tail around himself a corresponding number of times. Yeah. In that circle, second circle, Minos has its tail, and when you are being judged by this creature, he will be wrapping his tails around you a corresponding number of times. So that is the punishment in that circle. In the second circle, also lustful sinners are tossed around by endless storms. So meaning, mm, when there is a storm there, unending storms, and then you're just going to be tossed there as your punishment. Imagine if you will commit that crime or being lustful, you are going to experience that thing. So that is actually how Dante described the Inferno in his journey with Virgil. So we also have Dante speaks to the soul of Francesca De Remini, a woman who was stuck in a loveless arranged marriage and committed adultery when she fell in love with a dashing youth named Paolo. So in this circle also, Dante has seen Francesca Di Rimini. So until the last fool, we also have this scene of adultery. Once you committed adultery, you will be going in this circle, just like Francesca. If you think someone has a wife or husband already, don't attempt to commit adultery, because that is a sin under lustful. And next we have the Glottonus, circle 3. Cerberus, a monster, as what I've told you a while ago, the monstrous three-headed beast of hell, ravenously guards the Glutens lie in the freezing mire, mauling and flaying them with his claws as they howl like dogs. Yeah. So that is the punishment of those under the circle 3, the Glottonus. Dante then awaits in the third circle. So as told in the first circle, right, when he enters the gate of hell, he was not allowed because he is a living thing. So therefore, he needs to be unconscious. So therefore, in the third circle, he was awakened. Where the gluttonous sinners suffer under a cold and filthy rain. So the punishment of those who in this circle is that this circle is very cold, and all the things you will feel will be filthy rain and cold. You will freeze, but you will not die. You will you will feel the pain of the cold. Next circle, Avaricious and Prodigal. If you remember, there is a story of a prodigal son who left uh, the palace, get his money, and then, you know, separate his life from his family and then go back. So actually, those avaricious, they are the ones who are, greed. They want more of themselves. So Virgil leads Dante on the fourth circle, where the avaricious or greedy people and prodigal, reckless spenders. So, those who are uh, spending money just for nothing, just for their pleasure. So those are prodigal, reckless spenders, and avaricious, greedy people. They have the things, they want all the things they want. So this circle is guarded by Plutus. So next we have the wrathful, circle 5. Uh, we again encounter this river Styx. Remember, river Styx in the underworld is the river where the goddess Thetis soak her son Achilles just to be immortal. However, because he was dipped uh, by holding Achilles' foot, so the weakness of Achilles is his heel. So going back, this circle is for the wrathful and sullen. So the next stop on the tour is the fifth circle, where the wrathful and sullen are immersed in the muddy river Styx. While they are crossing the Styx, a sinner named Filippo Argenti reaches out to Dante, presumably for help, but Dante angrily rejects him. Why? So this is Filippo, as you can see on the screen. Filippo asking for Dante's mercy. But you don't know that Dante is just a visitor there, journeying towards the different circles of hell, the cantos of hell. So the circle 5 is the gate of Dis. Now at the gates of a city called Dis, Virgil takes it upon himself to persuade the demon guards to let them pass. Unexpectedly he fails. So we have here the demon guards, wherein they did not allow Dante to enter. The walls of these are guarded by fallen angels. Fallen angels. So those angels who turned their back to God. So this means that instead of continuing on with the journey, Dante and Virgil must wait for an angel to come down and force open the gates for them. So a while ago, for them to enter the gates of hell, Dante need to be unconscious. Here in the gates of this, they need an angel to come down and first open the gates for them. So yeah, they have we cannot discuss this if the angel did not come down. So apparently angel come down and they enter the sixth circle, which is the heretics. After passing the city of this, our dynamic duo, Virgil and Dante, enters the sixth circle where the heretics lay in the fiery tombs. Dante talks to Farinata, degli Oberti, who predicts that Dante will have difficulty returning to Florence from exile. So he gave Dante a prediction that he will find it hard or difficult to return to Florence from exile. So after the sixth circle, we have the seventh circle, which is the violent against neighbors. So this circle houses the violent. Its entry is guarded by Minotaur, which is divided into three rings: the outer ring, middle ring, and the inner ring. So as you can see there, the outer ring is the violent against their neighbors. The middle ring, violent against themselves. And the inner ring of the seventh circle is the violent against God. So as they cross from the sixth to the seventh circle where the violent are punished, Virgil finally begins explaining the layout of hell. So these are the three circles of, or the three rings of the seventh circle, which is the violent. violent against neighbor if you are unjust to your neighbors, violence against themselves if you are uh, abusing yourself. You're not taking care of yourself. So remember, as is stated in the Bible, that our body is the holy temple is the temple of the Holy Spirit. If you do something bad against our body, so that makes us being violent against ourselves. Some says that having tattoo is a form of violent against ourselves since we are hurting ourselves. So our body, being the temple of the Holy Spirit, should be preserved and should not be used in order to do bad things. Anyway, yeah, we will be proceeding to the outer ring. So housing the violent against people and property. So those who are very greed with their neighbors, especially even families. Uh, During previous times when we were kids, even until now, we will be receiving news that uh, most of the families or some of the families, just for the land, they are fighting and they want to kill one another just for the inherit of the land. So that is that those people, if they commit that crime, will belong to the outer ring of the seventh circle, who are immersed in the phlegathon, a river of boiling blood. So the punishment that those people will be receiving is to be immersed in the phlegathon, a river of boiling blood, to a level of commensurate to a level commensurate with their sin. So they will be immersed in this river, boiling blood, meaning eh, uh, they will experience that pain, but they will not die. Actually, all of the things that is happening here in the inferno is eternal. You will not die, but you will suffer eternally. That's why I let you have the reflection of what can you do in order for what are the things you want to improve, not for you not to be here at the inferno as described by Dante. If you remember this, the news of those people who were seen at the hell, the Pope, the other one is the other two are famous icons. If you know that's news about those people who were seen there at the hell. So we also have the middle ring. In this ring are the suicides, who are transformed into gnarled thorny bushes and trees. So if you will also remember that when Judas Iscariot, for the Catholics, Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus just for the sense. After that crime, he committed suicide. Instead of saying sorry for betraying Jesus, he chose to hang himself in the tree. So those people who committed suicides will be transformed into thorny bushes and trees, as you can see on the screen. So those who kill themselves after being depressed, they don't know what to do because of the different problems they are encountering, because of um, some, for those who are being bullied, if they cannot handle that situation within themselves, because of their lack of communication with their families. Instead of discussing it with their families, they tend to commit suicide. So if you committed that kind of thing, you are going to be here at the middle ring of the seventh circle. The trees are a metaphor. In life, the only way of the relief of the suffering was through pain. So metaphor siya. Because in life, if uh, you want to make yourself be away from problems, the only way you see, the solution you see is through suicide. But that should not be the thing that we should do when we want to be relief of the suffering we are experiencing. Next, we have Decanto 14 to 17. The seventh circle, which is the inner ring, the violent against God, nature, and art. So all reside in a desert of flaming sand with fiery flakes raining from the sky. Violent against God, blasphemers, blasphemers as described in uh, the Catholic, concise Catholic. So blasphemers are those people who are making themselves equal to God, who in the Pharisees and teachers of the law and said that Jesus committed blasphemy. Actually, Jesus is God, but they told Jesus that Jesus committed blasphemy. And we also have the natures, sodomites. If you know the story in the Bible, the Old Testament, the Sodom and Gomorrah, so they are the cities that committed very wrongdoings. So God wants them to be banished. So those people who are doing bad things against our natures are sodomites. And the art, the usurers. Usurers, mm, those people who are, that is actually one of the sacrilege. And sacrilege is a great sin. Okay, next, the circle 8, which is the fraudulent. Finally, Dante and Virgil ready themselves to cross in the eighth circle. Dante, at Virgil's command, summons the beast Geryon from the depths with a cord wrapped around his waist. Geryon is a symbol of deceit. Virgil stays to talk with the beast while urging Dante to look at the last of the violent sinners. When Dante comes back, they mount Geryon and ride that beast during the descent into the eighth circle. So for them to go to the eighth circle, they need to ride on the Geryon, the beast Geryon. So we have here the eighth circle contains the 10 pouches or the trenches, each containing different types of sinners. In the trench 1 or pouch 1, we have the panderers and seducers, trench 2 flatterers, trench 3 simoniacs, trench 4 sorcerers, trench 5 orators, trench 6 hypocrites, trench 7 thieves. Next, evil counselors, sowers of discord, and falsifiers. So for panderers and seducers, and trench 2 of the flatterers. So as you can see here, these are the punishment that the sinners are experiencing for the panderers here and for the seducers. Panderers and seducers walk in separate line in opposite directions whipped by demons. So those two kinds of sinners whipped, meaning they are being uh, hinampas sila ng demon in opposite direction. And flatterers are steeped in human excrement. Next, we have the Simoniacs and the sorcerers. Simoniacs, those who committed simony, are placed head first in holes in the rock with flames burning on the soles of their feet. Sorcerers are false prophets. They have their heads twisted around their bodies backwards so they can only see what's behind them and not in the future. So for we know that sorcerers are those who predict futures and also the false prophets. So if they committed that crime, their heads will be tilted, meaning their face will be at their back, so that when they walk, they will not see what's ahead of them. They will see what's behind them. So imagine that if that will happen to you. Okay, we also have the Hypocrites and Thieves. Hypocrites, you all are familiar with this. They are good on the outside but not in the inside. They're not practicing, or they are their inner work or the inner feelings does not commensurate their outer doings. Like the corrupt politicians, they are telling us that they will make a change in our country, in our province, in our place. But once they were held on the position, they did not fulfill what they have said during the campaign. So Traitors are immersed in a lake of boiling pitch guarded by devils, the Malibranche. Yan. Boiling pitch. Imagine if you are going to be in that place. You will experience such pain, but you will not die. Hypocrites listlessly walking along wearing a gold gilded lead cloaks. And we also have thieves and evil counselors. So thieves are beaten by snakes. So for those who like stealing things, those who are kleptomaniacs, so they are going to be here for sure. Thieves are beaten by snakes. Snakes bites them. Bites makes them or make them undergo various transformation, and some resurrected after being turned to ashes. And on the other source that I have read, those who are here, those thieves, they will be bitten by the snake. They are just going to be a human again if they will bite a human. And that is the rotation of their transformation. Or that is their transformation. Once they are bitten by the snake, they are going to become a snake. And then if they want to become a human in a human being form, they should bite a human being. So that is based on the other reference that I have read. So they're watching the flaming spirits of Odysseus and Diomedes, the Trojan War. If you will remember in the Greek literature, evil counselors are encased in individual flames. Para silang nag-charge. Remember in that video, if you remember during your childhood, those who are the Dragon Ball's characters, before they have to fight, they need to charge. And while charging, they are enclosed in flames. So that thing happens in the evil counselors. They will be surrounded or encased by individual flames. Imagine that. That flame is very hot and you are just being encased in that flame. And we also have the sowers of discord. Discord, meaning not this is the antonym of concord, meaning this is not peace. Opposite of peace, discord. The severed head of Bertrand de Born speaks to Dante. As you can see there, uh, Bertrand de Born is beheaded. He is carrying his head to speak to Dante. A sword-wielded devil hacks at the sowers of discord. As there was healed, the devil will tear their bodies again. Yan. So that is the punishment. They will be wounded, and once that wound heal, they will tear, or the devil will tear their bodies again. Imagine if that will if that will happen to you as a sowers of discord. If you always seek for fights and you give false information about your neighbors, then you are going to be here. Yung tinatawag natin yung chismosa. Mga chismosa. Groups of various sorts of falsifiers are afflicted with different types of diseases. Next, we also have the circle 8, the fraudulent. As daily Virgil points out the sinning giants who are immobilized around them in punishment. And the Nimrods of giants we have here. Nimrod, who was responsible for building the Tower of Babel, has lost the ability to speak coherently. His words are gibberish. And we also have the giant Antaeus lowers Dante and Virgil into the last circle. Virgil requests that one of the unbound giants, Antenaeus, transport them in the palm of his hand down to the last circle of hell. He complies. So here is Antenaeus, which was asked by Dante to be grabbed by his through his palm and then transfer him to the last circle of hell. So the last circle of hell is the traitors. So traitors distinguish from the merely fraudulent in that their acts involve betraying one in a special relationship. Hmm. Mga traidor in Tagalog are frozen in a lake of ice known as cocytus. So for those who are betraying their friends, stabbing from the back, so the punishment that those people will be receiving will be they will be frozen into the ice of cocytus. Imagine you are inside the freezer being frozen to death, but you will not die. You will just experience the cold. And we also have here the four concentric zones of the ninth circle. First region is the Caina, named for Cain. Remember in the Bible, Cain is a brother who killed Abel. He's home to traitors to their kindred, just to, because he got jealous with his sibling Abel. That's why he killed his brother. And we also have Region 2, Antenora. It's named for Antenor of Troy, who betrayed the city for the Greeks. We have not discussed this since this is part of the Aeneid story, but we have not discussed this. Well, actually, that is Antenor of Troy. Ptolemaia is probably named for Ptolemy, the captain of Jericho. He killed Simon Maccabeus and his son. Judeka, the region 4, is named for Judas Iscariot. The biblical, as what I've told you a while ago, is a betrayer of Christ, is for traitor to their lords. So for the region 1, Kaina, the souls here are immersed in the ice cup up of their neck. So I mean they are buried in ice, and the only thing that is being seen on them is their head. Imagine. You are being soaked, your body are in ice, is in ice, while your head is the only thing that can be seen. And region 2, Antenora, the souls here are immersed the same level as those in Kaina, except they are unable to bend their necks. Yeah. Those who are traitors, imagine that, those traitors. In the Kaina, you can tilt your head, you can bend your neck, but here in the Antenora, you can't. Ugolino knows upon the head of Archbishop Rogian. So meaning, whatever your position, whatever the position of your head is, you cannot change it since you cannot bend your neck. And we have here Ptolemaia, where the traitors against their guests suffer, immobilized in ice and their tears frozen against their eyes. So more brutal because once you cry here, it will turn into ice. As they cry, their tears freeze and seal their eyes shut. They are denied even comfort of tears. If you want to comfort ourselves, we tend to cry. But here, if they want to cry, they can't because once they cry, their tears will be freeze. All will freeze. And we have the Judeka, the region 4 of the ninth circle of hell, wherein Lucifer is the king of hell, frozen in the ice. In the fourth of the final zone, Judeka, where traitors against their benefactors are punished, Dante witnesses the king of hell, the three-headed Lucifer, giant and frozen at the core. In this 3 months, Lucifer mechanically choose Ninunguya on the most evil mortal sinners, Judas, Brutus, and Cassius. So he has seen Lucifer chewing the sinners, Judas Iscariot, Brutus, and Cassius. Brutus is the rival of Julius Caesar. And Cassius, I have not yet encountered that in the literature. But actually, he's a sinner. That's why he was there. So this is already the purgatory, but I will only be discussing the Infernus part. But if you want to read the purgatory, you may download this PowerPoint. I will be giving you this PowerPoint presentation for you to also have the reference. And also, I have given you the link of the video on the YouTube for you to be able to view, or for you to have uh, vision of what I am discussing right now. That is animated. So the only focus as per our syllabus is the Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy's Inferno. So that ends the story of the Dante Infernos, the Divine Comedy Inferno. Thank you for listening.